You trying to make me cry in front of everybody, man?
Yeah, that's the point.
One word of advice. Buying TV, don't spend it on Hooker.
Super Russ. I'm the last character on my Justice League team with these four babes. Ooh, yeah, Mr. Lickworthy himself, SimpleSimon, and the Tower of Power Super Russ 9000 are back for episode 33. Let's talk some wrestling. Dig it.
Yes. I was hoping you had something planned. You're getting better at that, mate.
Working on it.
I think it's time to take some wrestling lessons so you can actually chase the dream.
World champion outside of a video game, I don't know, man. Unless I just give in and buy one of the belts off the WWE shop.
Man, those replicas, I used to want one so bad.
Man.
Like, so bad.
I would love to, I'd probably either go for the big gold title or the Winged Eagle classic title.
I like the one, like back in, it was like a circle one. It was back when like Stone Cold was like champ.
Oh yeah, the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
That's a great looking championship.
Yeah. What's going on, Simply?
What's up, Simply Incredible Podcast?
I just thought I should bring up this photo I've got. I used to, so I'm not really into wrestling anymore, but I used to be massively into wrestling. And I went to the WWE when they had the Fan Expo, so it was coming down.
Oh, nice.
And then like I don't know if it's like a couple of days before the event or a week before the event or something, they have the Fan Expo. And I got a photo taken with the belt. If I can find it. It's really heavy too. But like, have you ever gone to wrestling events?
Yeah, a couple years ago, I got to go to a Monday Night Raw with my niece and her husband. That was awesome.
Cool. Who was there?
Oh man, Undertaker, Kane.
Really?
A lot of the big guys were there at the time. I actually got a video of it on my channel. I took some video of the entrances and stuff. My phone at the time was kind of crappy, so the video quality is not the best on it. But it's pretty cool. It was an awesome experience. What's up, Neil?
What's up, mate? How am I gonna? I'm certain it's on my Facebook because I know I used to every now and then I would share it when it comes up to my memories. I went. They had an event down here called. I went a few times. I think I might have gone 3 times. The first time they came down, it was called like Global Warning or something like that. And Brock Lesnar was there.
Oh yeah.
I think I feel like he might have faced the Rock maybe in the. I can't remember, but the Rock. So the Rock. I can't. I remember Stone Cold was supposed to come the first time, and then he pulled out last minute.
That must have been early 2000s.
Yeah, that was when I was like really into it. Stacy Keibler, I think, might have, because I remember she's on the front of the DVD. Nice. My Mad Spidey's Addy. He's not a wrestling fan.
What's up, Spidey? Alex Big Blue, what's going on, man?
But I'll never forget, man. There was one time. I don't think it was the first event. It was because one time I think I had 12th row. Like I paid big bucks, and I got like the 12th row, right? And back then I had my camera. I had like the cameras with the rolls of film and stuff like that. That's how long ago it was. And I went through 3 rolls of film. Right. I remember RVD was there. I remember taking photos of him.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the Dudley Boys were there, and Bubba, that's his name, Bubba Ray.
Yeah,
Dudley.
Bubba Ray and Devon.
Yeah, so he comes out into the crowd, like he drags the guy, and I was like, everyone's like, woo! So I literally jumped right up in front, and like literally walked right in front of him as he's walking towards me and take a photo, like literally with flash on right in front of his face. And then I tapped him on the shoulder as he walked past, and I was so pumped, right? And after the event, I got home and I realized I only had 2 rolls of film, even though I should have had 3. And when I got on my photos, so I somehow lost a roll of film.
Oh,
And then when I got them developed, that Bubba Ray photo wasn't in there. So the roll I lost had that, and I was so disappointed with myself.
man.
Yeah.
What's up, Fanboy Prime?
But something I wanted to ask you, because I mean, I hear a lot of people talking about wrestling still. What was the deal that happened with that guy in AEW like a week or 2 ago?
Are you talking about MJF?
Yeah. Explain
With
that
the,
to me, because I heard a lot of
the
people talking
infamous
about, it, but I didn't know what they
pipe
were
bomb
talking
promo?
about. But it kind of sounded interesting.
It's a pretty interesting situation, man. He's basically the top heel in that company because of his like promo work and mic skills. But
Yeah.
he's an incredible wrestler. And they're doing this. I not know. I really don't know if it's an angle or a work or a shoot or what they're doing. But he's been complaining about not having enough money in his contract, and they're doing like this whole thing on it. And it's really hard to tell if it's like an actual shoot where he's really angry or if it's a work, because when he signed, he wasn't, he was a nobody when he signed. And now he's this huge, like, member of the company, and he's been demanding more money or threatening to go to WWE. And it seems like Vince McMahon really sees him as a high value um, asset. His contract is supposed to be up in 2024, and he's saying he doesn't want to wait that long. He wants to jump ship now. And he cut this like huge like pipe bomb promo on the air, which made it seem more like it was part of the show instead of like a shoot. Because I mean, they would have cut his mic a long time ago before it got that far.
But they did cut his mic, right?
Yeah, but not till like the very end of the promo. But he definitely wants more money. That's like the real part of it. And I don't know if they're going to give it to him or not. So he's got this angle where he's trying to get fired instead of having to wait 2 more years for his contract to expire. But he's like a heck of a wrestler, man, in the ring, all kind of talent. But on the last big show, they had him job out to a guy named Wardlow, and he like took 11 or 12 power bombs from him.
So he took MJF
Yeah.
took.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard
So
them
they
talking
just
about
had
that
him
too,
like
but I didn't know what
straight
they were talking
job out, man. So I don't know. But if you follow like his Twitter and stuff, because a few months ago he had this huge feud with CM Punk, and he cut a lot of like old school like CM Punk promos that he cut back in the day and like redid them, and it was awesome, man. But he's all the time like he stays in character, like no matter what signings, talk shows. He's one of the few wrestlers that stay in character all the time now. He doesn't break kayfabe. So he's always like insulting fans at signings, like even little kids, like telling them, like cussing them out and telling them to get away from them and junk. And it's awesome, man. He's like the ultimate like heel in wrestling right now.
I found the photo. So I looked it up. The event that I went to was in 2002. So what year is it now? 20. This is 20 years ago. All right.
Yeah. Oh man.
Had the same hair.
That's the Undisputed Championship, I think, when they merged the big gold and the
Yeah.
Attitude Era belts.
Yeah, right. And I'm wearing my Austin 316 shirt that's all cut up.
Nice.
Yeah. So
That's awesome, dude.
that was a good one. But yeah, another thing that I remember happening when Ronda Rousey came, because I was reading a lot of articles when Ronda Rousey went over, because obviously I'm more into like MMA now.
Yeah.
And there was a thing where I think she lost the match at WrestleMania, and then she made this post on her social media about how it was bullcrap that she didn't win, and the company's all like, how it's all fake and all, and like she fully, like, do you know more about that story?
I think that she like legitimately got her feelings hurt.
Yeah, like she's
Because
such a
when she
small.
first came in, it was like this big deal. The fans were all cheering her. She was all like trying to keep a straight face, but couldn't, and like smiling on the way to the ring and stuff. And then they put like the title on her so fast. And all the fans, they loved like Becky Lynch at the time. So they like just flipped and turned on Ronda like that. And I think it messed her up.
Yeah,
She like took it so personal.
She's such a sore loser, man. Like she is, because I don't know if you know what happened to her in MMA, right? But
Yeah,
she was,
where Holly Holm, wasn't it? Just beat the
yeah,
living crap out of her, man.
I was at that fight, and I had money on Holly Holm, and I won about $300
Oh, nice.
on that fight. It was so funny because everyone was pro Ronda, right? So me and my mate, we both didn't like Ronda Rousey, so and we both had money on Holly Holm, and so when she got knocked out, like every single person was like in silent, because they built up Ronda massively, right? She was like the woman power person, So everyone around us was just like in shock, right? And me and my mate are just like hugging each other, going, "Yeah, yeah!" Like it was so good. What's up, Sean? But man, like she was like, when she was coming up, right? She was just a real bitch, man. Like she had this big rivalry with Misha Tate, and at the end, after the fight, they had like 2 fights, and the second one was in the UFC, and Misha Tate went to shake her hand, and Ronda just like snubbed her off, sort of thing. So yeah, she was massively, and then yeah, when she went to WWE and complained about that stuff, I was like, you are seriously, like, you've got problems. It's wrestling, like, seriously. That's the business you're getting into.
But yeah, it was crazy, man. How like fast the fans just flipped and turned on her, and she just wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Have you seen that doco? We probably spoke about all the same stuff last time. Did you see that doco, Wrestling with Shadows?
Yeah.
The one about Bret Hart.
It's been a while.
How he got screwed. Yeah, that was so good when I watched that.
That was like the first, or at least the first, like
publicly
real shoot that happened. I think like real.
So what's called a shoot?
Thing.
A shoot is what it's called when they do it
go
off script.
Yeah. But that was huge back in the day. That was the talking point for forever. But what's bad is, Brett went to WCW after that. And at the time, WCW was just all about pushing the NWO. And it's like they didn't really have a good spot for Brett. I mean, when they introduced him as a special guest referee, of all things. He should have came in there, got the main title, and WCW might have lasted longer as a company if they didn't have so many people that wanted to be in charge, because you had Kevin Nash with creative control, Hogan with creative control, Bischoff with creative control. Then they brought in Vince Russo, probably the worst writer and booker I've ever seen in the business. He just ruined everything, man. They had the whole mess with like where they made Jeff Jarrett lay down for Hogan, but then they just relinquished the title right away and put him in another match with Booker T and had Booker T go over, I think. It was just so weird what was happening near the end of WCW's like life cycle before they got bought out.
Yeah, I never really I didn't follow WCW. I remember because I remember when I got, so obviously like wrestling when I was young, with like in like the Hulk Hogan era and Ultimate Warrior and all that stuff. And then obviously I kind of went through that phase of wrestling's fake. I wasn't into it. And then I got back into it when I was probably about 15 or 16, I watched like Survivor Series or something. So I was following all the WWE stuff. And then there were some other people at school who were WCW guys. And they're like, no, WCW is better. But I never got a chance to watch. It was hard to, like, how did you guys watch it back in the day? Like, was it just on free-to-air TV or did you have
No, it was on
cable?
cable. If I remember right, at the time, WWF was on USA Network and WCW was on TNT. So they were both like cable channels.
Yeah, so I didn't. So WCW used to play on a sports show on the weekend. They'd have like a little segment where they'd show you some. Because I remember watching, like, did WCW have a Royal Rumble?
No, they had what was that event? They had a similar event.
Did Ric Flair win it?
I can't remember what it was. They tried it, but they put like 3 rings together, and it was a
I know
90-man, like
I know
over
what
the
you're talking
top
about.
rope elimination thing.
Yeah, no, I did eventually. Now, there was one thing, maybe it was, I'm sure it was WCW. There was something that I used to watch on the weekends, and it was a sports show, but they'd have a segment and they were showing like a Royal Rumble style thing. But I'm so positive it was WCW now, thinking back to it. I don't think it was WWE. It looked more like a WCW production. But yeah, when they did the invasion thing in WWE, when they brought them out, that's when I went back and started hiring like WCW tapes to find out about the Stings and the Goldbergs and all that sort of stuff. So, but I didn't really know much about it up until that invasion thing happened.
Yeah, that was the bad thing about the invasion. They couldn't really do it right because even though WCW was bought out, what's up, SDA? A lot of the bigger guys like Goldberg, Sting, I think Diamond Dallas Page at the time, they were still under contract with Time Warner. So even though WCW didn't technically exist anymore, they couldn't come over yet.
Was Goldberg still undefeated when when that all happened?
No, they had him lose a match to Kevin Nash.
Okay.
And it was like a controversial thing because they didn't want to just have him like lose straight up to like make him look weak. So they did like had this angle where like a bunch of the NWO members were attacking him. Scott Hall like hit him with a giant like taser. It was just a crazy angle, man.
I remember his last his last match against Brock when it was like both their last fights on their contract.
Oh yeah,
And
WrestleMania 20.
it was a stink fest, mate. It was so boring, and everyone was booing him and singing.
Yeah, everybody knew they were both leaving, man. So they just booed them both right out of the building.
That was funny. That was funny. But the invasion event, I remember the Rock versus Hulk Hogan match was very, very good.
Oh yeah, WrestleMania 18, I think it was.
That was so good.
That was like epic. I think originally that was they wanted to do Austin and Hogan, but at the time there was some animosity between the two, and they didn't want to work with each other, so they made it Rock and Hogan.
See you, fanboy.
Take it easy, fanboy Prime.
I don't know if it would have been as good with I like The Rock made that awesome match. Didn't he get rock bottom? Didn't Hulk Hogan rock bottom him? I think he did.
Yeah.
That was
big
when
matches, man. They were always stealing each other's moves.
Yeah, but I feel like that happened. I didn't notice that very often. It happened very often until the invasion thing happened. They were all stealing each other's moves, and even in the game, it became a thing in the game where you could steal the other person's move. Yeah,
that's still in the games today, man.
That's so good. But yeah, that was a big thing. I remember, like, I was loving it during that time because it's just the idea of it. You know what I mean? Of two companies.
I just wish that all the bigger people could have came over, like Sting, because it's a shame that we never got to see the like Sting versus Undertaker match. I feel like that would have been epic, and I think it might have happened because like if Sting hadn't got injured by Seth Rollins when he did finally go to WWE, they probably would have finally put that match together. But Sting had the injury and had to like leave, and then he just ended up leaving the company again.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? I remember going back and watching all that WCW stuff, and there was two things. Like Sting was cool. Like obviously, I wanted to find out about Sting because he was a cool looking guy, right? But I really didn't think he was a great wrestler. Like I didn't really, you know what I mean? I don't know. He was kind of boring to me.
Really?
And same with Goldberg. Like Goldberg was the idea of him is cool that he'd come in and just destroy everyone in a minute. That was great. But then if his matches were actually longer, he really didn't do much. You know what I mean? That's why the Brock Lesnar thing was so crap.
It's funny because I've only seen him have like maybe 2 really good matches that went a little bit longer, and one was actually against Raven. It was a hardcore match where he had some help from his teammates at the time. I think they called them Raven's Flock, and Raven, I feel like was an underrated wrestler because he could make anybody look better in the ring, as far as like selling and
Oh, I was just
really
like, I
good.
couldn't remember. I was like, that name sounds familiar. I couldn't remember. I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was cool.
I feel like he
But yeah,
never
he was
really
just like
got the
always.
recognition he should have.
He was just like a jobber, like always, right?
Yeah, but he was so good, man. I think the only time he ever won like championships was when he was in like ECW or something.
Look at the T-shirt he's wearing.
Yeah, Sandman. I think that's maybe why I liked Raven back in the day.
Yeah, he was definitely a. Wow. Yeah, I completely forgot about him. Like, yeah, as soon as you said the name, I was like, well, he sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Raven had a good talking game. Oh, Gray Man with his wrestling knowledge. What?
Oh yeah,
I didn't
he
know,
was good on the mic.
I didn't know Gray Man was into wrestling.
There was so many like good angles back then in WCW that they could have ran with, and like I don't know, maybe the company wouldn't have went out of business so fast if it wasn't for all the backstage stuff.
Macho Man is the GOAT.
100, man. I like Savage way better than Hogan back in the day, especially after Hogan first turned heel.
Yeah, wait. I remember you talking about this last time. You thought it was real, right?
Yeah,
So
at the time when Hall and Nash came in, I thought they were like really invading from WWF, and at that pay per view, I believe it was Bash at the Beach. Hogan came out to like run them off, and then he dropped the leg on Savage and turned heel, and I was just like crazy devastated, man. I could like because I thought it was 100% real. Had no idea. So I like just hated Hogan, man. I threw away my Hulkamania shirt and I was just devastated.
Meanwhile, that shirt's now worth lots of money.
Yeah. And what's crazy is I think I was like 17 at the time, and I still 100% believed it was real, man.
Wow. 17. So you're like just a couple of years older than me, right? So that would have been around the time that I got back into it, but I knew damn well. Like that's why I stopped being into it. Like throughout most of my younger, I guess, years, I wasn't into it because you had the whole wrestling's fake, so you just didn't watch it. But then I had like a friend in school who loved it, right? He was always talking about The Rock. And this is when Rock was like, before he was super famous, but my mate loved The Rock. And this is when he was a bad guy. And yeah, it was that Survivor Series. They played it on free to air. So, I never really had a chance to watch it because I never had cable. So they played Survivor Series on free to air. And I was like, this is awesome. It had The Rock, had Stone Cold, I think Mankind won the Survivor Series. And then my brothers had cable. So they were like, oh yeah, we can tape it for you. Because I never lived with my brothers because they're different dads. So they used to record it on a VHS tape, and then like once a week or two, they'd give me a VHS tape with all the Raw and SmackDown shows. And Macho versus Ultimate Warrior, loser leaves WWE happen. No,
Thought it was real too.
Who won?
I'm glad I wasn't alone.
Was that? I'm guessing Ultimate Warrior won, and Macho went to WCW.
I might have because I remember. I think the reason Macho Man left WWE is because they were trying to keep him like on an announcer role, and they wouldn't like let him wrestle when he wanted to. So he just said like, "Screw that! I still got a lot of good years in me," and he went to WCW.
Chris Jericho. Yeah, Chris Jericho is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's crazy that a lot of those guys are still going, like Jericho and Sting.
Yeah, well, yeah, Sting's a lot
Because
older
Sting
than
is in his
Jericho.
60s now.
Yeah, I
But
mean, think
Jericho,
how
God, Jericho's been going because he started in WCW like back in the early 90s. So he's probably had like a 30-year career or close to it by now.
he was my favorite, one of my favorite intros, man. I used to always do. I was always gonna
The
do. As you were learning
Y2J.
the intro today, I was like, how can I do the thing? I had to take 75, and when he won the belt, because he won the undisputed, remember?
Yep. That was
He
awesome, man, when he
he merged
finally
the
got that.
belts.
Because I
And
remember like it ticked me off so bad. The first time he won a world title was from Triple H. And Triple H like got the referee Earl Hebner and was threatening him because he did a fast count, and he made him reverse the decision and made Jericho give the title back. I was so mad. And then it was like a year or two later before Jericho finally won the undisputed title.
what was his thing on the mic? He used to say, was he the guy who said that you suck or something? No, that was Kurt Angle. No, he used to say something on the mic. I remember. I can't remember
He
what
cut so many like legendary promos. One of his things was "You'll never ever be the
Yeah, yeah,
same,
right.
jerky."
That's right. That's right. That's the one. So good.
I can't do a good Jericho impersonation. But he's like reinventing himself all the time and staying relevant, man.
I was trying to find, you know how I did the Instagram story last night. I was actually trying to find his like original intro.
Yeah.
But I couldn't
That's funny
find it.
because like even though he's not like in WWE, they keep like all the stock entrances in the game. So I'm actually using Jericho's entrance for my created character.
Cool. That's cool.
I wish they had the music though. I missed that the Break Down the Walls theme song.
Yeah, so I remember when he won the belts and he would do the thing and he had both belts, like one in each hand. Oh, so good.
Man, I miss that era of WWE. I miss it when it was WWF, man. The Attitude Era was so good.
Check out Jericho singing on Nasty Savage's Psycho album. Because Jericho still got these band because he was in that band Fozzy. I remember.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
they came down and I almost went and saw them, but I didn't really know them, so
yeah.
I didn't go.
His new theme song in AEW, he actually like wrote that with his band.
I remember his band Fozzy did a Wasp cover. Great man. They used to cover Love Machine. Do you reckon they'll ever do other merger stuff? Are they? I guess because
I
they
don't know,
bought
man,
it.
because
I don't think they can do it.
I
Because
don't
what
think
I'm
they'll ever do anything with AEW.
what happened to TNT?
TNA.
TNA, sorry.
Yeah.
What?
It's still around. It's Impact. It's
Okay.
Impact Wrestling now instead of TNA, I think. And last I heard, they were still around, but they actually do stuff with AEW from time to time.
Ah, see, that's cool.
Yeah, and AEW recently, if I'm not mistaken, they purchased Ring of Honor, so now Ring of Honor is a part of AEW too. So they got 3 different companies they can put talent in.
Yeah, Ring of Honor, because I know of a lot of people that, not a lot, but I've known a few people in my life that actually are wrestlers and they wrestle in
Yeah.
small promotions down here, and they all love Ring of Honor. Who is the wrestler that you like that just disappeared? I remember Lex Luger.
Um, I liked Glacier back in WCW. He had a short run where he was like a martial artist and he had this Sub-Zero gimmick. And I thought that was like so awesome. And he just kind of fell off and disappeared. I guess it didn't really get over. But I
My
thought it was
favorite,
cool because I love Mortal Kombat.
my favorite was Gilbert.
I remember hearing like seeing an interview with Goldberg where he said he hated that, that when they did that to him.
They should have brought him back when Goldberg came over, and
Yeah.
Goldberg could have like destroyed him.
Goldberg, man, I don't know. They keep trying to bring him back now, and it's like he keeps making mistakes in the ring. Like I don't know if you saw the match he had with Undertaker. It was last year or maybe 2 years ago now. And he
Who?
like went to pick him up for Goldberg and Undertaker. He went to pick
I
him
think
up
is
for
Goldberg
his
still wrestling.
jackhammer. Yeah, they keep bringing him back, man. And he couldn't hold Undertaker up, and he like fell awkwardly, and Taker landed on the back of his head and neck and got a concussion. It's like he almost paralyzed the Undertaker in a match. But Vince keeps bringing him back for like, especially when they do the overseas stuff, like Saudi Arabia pay-per-views, they'll bring Goldberg back.
Because
And
Undertaker retired,
he
yeah.
can't do like he used to, man.
Undertaker retired, yeah.
Yeah, he's officially retired now.
Because I remember obviously he had that whole WrestleMania, and this is way after I was following it, but I know he eventually broke the streak of that WrestleMania streak, but then he just kept losing after that, right?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I think the next year after that he fought Bray Wyatt and he beat Bray, and then the year after that he fought Roman, and then Roman beat Taker. And then I think he had one more match and he won that one. So it's like he's lost twice total at Mania. What's up, Surfer?
What's up, Surfer? Yeah, these are all names like Mark Jindrak. That name sounds familiar, and the reflection. I just can't remember. Let me have a look.
It was he was one of the WCW guys that came over. I think it was him, Sean Stasiak, I think, and Sean O'Hare.
Oh, Sean O'Hare was. I like Sean O'Hare because he looked like a video game character.
Yeah,
he was like straight out of a video game.
Yeah, that's a shame. What happened to him?
Wait, what happened to him?
Suicide.
Okay, yeah, I think I might have heard that actually. Sean O'Hare.
I think it was either that or an overdose. One of the two. I can't remember which.
He was never really big though, like a name anyway.
They put him in one high-profile match against Triple H, and then after that, they just kept him on the like lower mid card. I can't remember if he ever won a championship over there or not.
Oh, that's right. He fought MMA as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I just found a photo of him fighting against Butterbean.
Oh, man. I didn't know he had an MMA background.
Yeah. And there is a photo of him on the ground with Butterbean.
I remember when WWF did the whole boxing thing. It was Dr. Death, Steve Williams, Bart Gunn was a part of it. I think JBF was a part of it, and they did like real like boxing matches in the ring. And Steve Williams was supposed to win the whole thing, but Bart Gunn really knocked him out. So for punishment, they made Bart fight Butterbean, and Butterbean dang near killed him, man. Almost knocked his head off.
The Aussie Giant. Yeah, what was his name? Nathan.
Oh, God, what was his name?
Was it Nathan Nathan something?
Nathan Jones, I think that was it.
Yeah.
They tried to team him with the Undertaker, but he didn't really have any like skill in the ring. He was just a big dude.
Yeah, he did. I think his finishing move or something was a crazy spinning like kick that he had.
Yeah, I think so.
But he's in a lot of movies nowadays.
Yeah, I remember I saw him way back in the '90s in a Jackie Chan movie. He was like one of the thugs. I
He
think it
was
was
in
First Strike.
one of the Tony Jaa movies as well. Have you ever seen those? The Tony Jaa. He did like Ong Bak and there you go, Ong Bak 2. Yeah, so the guy Tony Jaa who's in Ong Bak, he was in a film called The Protector, I think, where he has to go retrieve some elephant or something, and Nathan Jones was the big
I
villain in
haven't
that.
seen that. I'm gonna have to check it out.
You haven't seen Ong Bak? Oh, dude, they're so good. Like as far as like martial arts films, like he really, I feel like he brought it back a bit for a little stint when those movies were coming out. Yeah, there's a film in The Protector where it's got the films where the scenes where a guy walks into a room and takes out everyone. Right? There's a scene in The Protector. I think it's called The Protector, and man, he literally breaks every single person's limbs. Like in that, like you can just look up that scene on YouTube, man. It is just epic. Yeah, he's like a Thai guy, so he does like Muay Thai and stuff.
Yep, definitely gonna have to look that up, man. Sounds awesome.
Ong Bak.
Have you been?
They did like Floyd Mayweather was in like a WrestleMania, wasn't he? And he
Yeah,
fought, like,
he fought the Big Show of all people. And one of the promos leading up to that, Big Show got on his knees and like hit me, and Floyd Mayweather actually broke Big Show's nose.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had to take a few weeks off.
No, The Protector is not the sequel to Ong Bak. A lot of people think it is, but it's not. The Protector was filmed in Australia too, so it's funny because there's this actor. He's like a Thai actor. He's in Ong Bak, but in this Protector movie, he plays a cop. Because it's set in Australia, he plays like an Aussie cop, and he can't speak English. It's so funny. It is so funny.
Have you been keeping up at all with the current wrestling?
No. So on the odd occasion, like I had some friends over, and just to have something on in the background, like because we've got like KO Sports here is like a sports streaming service,
yeah,
and they've got WWE, and then one time I remember it was like, oh, let's put this on in the background, and that was about as much as I've seen. So yeah. I mean, I read articles a lot about because AEW brings in a lot of MMA guys. So I've read articles on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. I don't like the thumbnail I chose with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
WWE just recently had the Hell in a Cell match, and leading up to that, Cody Rhodes actually tore his pectoral muscle lifting weights, training, getting ready for the match. And he like tore it off the bone, man. And they let him wrestle anyway. He came out and he took his coat off, and it was just bruised from like here all the way to here. And he wrestled the whole match and like put on like a 5-star performance, man. I don't know how he did it. And on the flip side, on AEW, CM Punk had like a tag match, and he broke like some kind of bone in his foot or something. Like, and he had to have like surgery on it. So he's got to like relinquish the AEW World Championship that he just won a few weeks ago. And like going back to MJF, where he's had this feud with CM Punk, he put this meme up where it's like referencing WWE and everything is like Cody Rhodes fought a match with a torn pectoral, and CM Punk stubbed his toe and went home. And it was like, so that's the story behind the thumbnail. It was a meme. I just thought that was like hilarious.
CM Punk came to the UFC. He didn't do well.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know, but CM Punk actually wrote a few comics for Marvel.
Oh, really?
After he left the WWE before he went to UFC, because he's a huge comic book fan. So he's got a few titles that he wrote under his belt for Marvel Comics.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever get any wrestling comic books since you're into wrestling so much? You ever seen those around?
I don't have any more, but I used to have some Ultimate Warrior comics back in the day. And I
That's
used
cool.
to also like try to get the WWE magazines. And I believe Undertaker had a comic back in the day
he
as
did.
well.
Yeah. Well, they did. So I've seen those around a lot, the Undertaker ones.
Yeah. I don't have them anymore though.
But they were doing like WWE comics for a while. I remember.
Yeah, I remember seeing a few. Actually, when I was scrolling eBay probably a month or two ago, I came across one with just a championship belt on the cover, but it was signed by a couple of different wrestlers. That was like way out of my price range, so I just kept scrolling.
There's some comic coming out. I think it's already out in the US, but a lot of our stuff gets delayed at the moment. And it's about wrestling, and I can't remember. It's by the guy who did Murder Falcon and that Wonder Woman thing. I can't remember what it's called, but I think I ordered the first issue just to see what it was like. What's Daniel Warren Johnson? I think his name is.
I've been so out of the loop on new comics, man.
Here we go. It's called "Do a Power Bomb."
I'm about to have to check that out.
Yeah, so I ordered the first issue of that to see what it was like, but I don't know. I don't know how good a comic book about wrestling could be, but who knows?
It might be. Like, I don't remember much about the ones back in the day. I just remember like the cover with like Ultimate Warrior's face close up on it. I don't remember like what the actual book was.
Annoys me that tag team wrestling is a bit crap nowadays.
Yeah.
Do they not have like, just because, I guess there's guys like the Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys, and they come in to be like a tag team, right? Like that's their thing.
Like,
is that still a thing?
the Hardys, believe it or not, both the Hardys are still going in AEW right now. And they recently won like a pretty high profile match against Matt and Nick Jackson. They're like one of the best tag teams going right now. But Jeff is like injured like all the time from doing crazy spots. And like you can tell when he's coming to the ring that he's just not moving the same. So I think he's going to retire pretty soon. What's up, Comic Mag? But yeah, with like most current tag teams, especially in WWE, they seem to like put a group together and then they break them up like way too quick. It's like that just recently happened with Edge's new faction. He created this faction called Judgment Day with Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and they were going to bring in a fourth member and make like a whole big faction out of it. But a couple things happened. That Cody Rhodes injury, because he's going to be out for close to 6 months now after wrestling with the torn pec. AJ Styles got hurt, and he was teaming with Finn Balor and Liv Morgan to go against Edge's faction. So Styles is going to be out for a month or two with a concussion. And they brought Finn Balor over to Edge's faction. And then they flipped and turned on Edge and kicked him out of his own faction. So they broke that team up. And they're going to like flip Edge back to being a face again because two of the biggest faces, Styles and Rhodes, are going to be out for a while. So I think it was a plan that they were going to do down the road, and they just flipped it and did it like so quick because they lost two main players. So now they got to have like another big face because Orton, he's out too on injury right now. So he's
is he
not,
still big? Is he like
yeah.
one of the big names?
Yeah.
Orton?
Yep. There are rumors because Ric Flair himself has said that he wants Orton to be the one to surpass 16-time world champion and go to 17. And right now, Orton is sitting at 14 world titles. So they're probably going to like push him when he comes back.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Yeah, I used to love Edge back in the day, but like by the time Edge became an actual big name, I was already on the way out pretty much when he was the rated R superstar. But I was like, really, he was like because obviously I got into it and Stone Cold was my favorite, but he's like everyone's favorite. So Edge was like my little side guy who I used to like, because back then it was Ministry of Darkness and he was part of that.
Yeah.
Christian and Gangrel. And then
They had like some of the best matches back then, man, between the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys, man.
Yeah,
They were
that was the best.
Every match they put on was better and better.
What was was it the Bushwhackers?
Yeah. Yeah, that was 80s Bushwhackers. They had a lot of crazy teams back then, man. The Hillbillies.
What was the name of when Undertaker and Kane teamed up as a tag team?
Oh, the Brothers of Destruction.
Yeah.
That was epic, man.
Cool.
I was a huge Kane fan, like almost right away when he first came in.
Yeah, he was cool.
The whole like mask and full body suit with the red and black colors. It was just like that got my attention right away because I was like a huge comic nerd too. And it was just like this crazy looking villain. Even though they built him as a bad guy, I was like all for Kane.
Yeah, he had I guess he was a mysterious character, so that was always good. And he was
hated when they unmasked him, man. I hated that. Because they actually made him like shave his head. That was bad.
He did that movie. He was in that movie. I can't
See No Evil.
Yeah, was that any good?
I liked it. It was crazy, man. There was one scene where he like took his like finger and pushed it into this little like eyeball and like pulled it out. Of course, I love horror movies too, so
that sounds too much.
The Hart Foundation, some of the best ever. Speaking of that, Owen Hart's wife recently gave the okay to AEW to use Owen's name for like this huge tournament. So they've been having the tournament over a series of months, and Adam Cole won it on the men's side, and Britt Baker won it on the women's side. And they had these like Owen Hart commemorative belts that each one of them got. That was awesome to see.
I don't remember Owen Hart that much. I think that all happened just before I sort of got into it all again. Yeah. I think the Owen Hart thing.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no.
Fell from the Raptors.
Yeah. Or was he?
The harness broke. Yeah.
Maybe it was just after I got into it. But again, I didn't see it, obviously, but I heard about it.
He was doing a gimmick at the time called the Blue Blazer. And it just one of those unfortunate accidents, man.
How many people?
But ever since that happened, his wife hasn't allowed Owen's name or likeness in WWE because she still blames Vince for that accident. So that's why Owen has never like been in a WWE game since then.
It's rough. Oh, the Booger Man. Wait, who's the Booger Man? He sounds familiar.
He was, I think, in the early 2000s. He was this character that came in that ate worms. He had like red and black face paint. He was like
hang on, let me see.
Almost like a Bray Wyatt type character now, but back then.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Him and Booker T had some crazy matches.
I remember him.
It was just like a fun character, man.
Yeah, man, those games were like my life back in those days.
Yeah.
I've got
this Here Comes the Pain.
I've got like a because back then, wait, how would I have done it? Because I remember we used to record some of our matches onto like a VHS tape. I'm guessing we would have plugged the console into the VCR or something, have that linked up to the TV if I had to guess. But somewhere I've got a VHS tape with like just crazy stuff that we did on the on one of the early PlayStation, probably PlayStation 2 if I had to guess.
But those games are like the best. You should check out 2K22, man. You might like it.
Yeah, but man, like I'm barely playing games that I really want to play, and I just never have the time or interest to play games anymore for some reason.
Yeah.
VR, except for VR, I like VR games, which I really want to start doing. I want to start doing more VR videos again because they were pretty fun to do.
Yeah, those were cool, man.
I got I want to play the Resident Evil in VR because it's just like I can't play Resident Evil games because they're too scary. But in VR, I was like for a video, I think it'd be funny.
Yeah,
I bought. Okay.
Resident Evil 7 would probably be the one to play in VR for like scares.
Yeah, I might crap myself on the camera.
Entertaining, man. That'll get the viewers there.
And I bought a Star Wars Squadron game recently, so you fly like X-wings and stuff. I was like, that'd be cool to do in VR, so I bought that.
Yeah,
it was only like $20, but it's just a pain in the ass because to do those videos, I'm gonna bring my big ass green screen into my room here, which it's gonna be hard to set it up in this room, but I could do it. It would take a lot of work.
the Resident Evil 7 was awesome, man. I finally beat that game for the first time because I remember I skipped it when it originally came out, and then after I played Village, Resident Evil 8, I had to go back and play Resident Evil 7. I know this is off topic from wrestling, but they're remaking Resident Evil 4. It's supposed to be out in March of 2023, and they're changing a lot of stuff up and making it way more horror centric. It's looking like it'll be pretty epic.
Yeah, I can't remember which one last one I played. I think it might have been 5 or something. There was one where when you walk through and you hold, it's almost like I only played I didn't play it for very long. I played pretty much like the first bit. And when you're walking through, it's almost like you follow like a path as you're walking. Like you can't really just walk anywhere. And then the gun had like a what's it called? Like the laser pointer thing.
Laser pointer?
Yeah, as you're sort of like moving around. But I remember that game, as soon as the game starts, it's like it just drops you in the middle of like fucking like 20 zombies that are trying to eat you. Like you literally, it's just like they just drop you in the middle and like they're just attacking you. I didn't understand how
that sounds like it might be Resident Evil 5 with Chris Redfield.
I think it was 5. Yeah. Sorry, Grey Man.
We got off topic, man.
Yeah.
It started talking about wrestling video games and it just kind of morphed into other games, but
it always happens.
Yeah.
It always happens.
Have to do another video game show in the future.
We did one like I was just checking actually. I was like, wait, did we do video games just recently? It was 2 episodes ago.
Too long ago now, I don't think.
It was 2 episodes ago. It was 2 weeks ago. We're starting to recycle, so I think the next one we might hang on. Let me go. I've got your playlist up here. So, episode 10 was Wednesday Night SmackDown. So, we went over 20 episodes before we rehashed it.
Yeah, this was 33, I think.
That was like the wrestling one was like the first. Oh no, the nostalgia one was. That was the first one where we kind of just talked about stuff.
Yeah,
and then we did wrestling, and then we did video games. In Comic Book Memories, which is a Grey Man ripoff, right?
Yeah. So we've homaged Grey Man twice, the Comic Memories and the cover pictures.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe we need to do another cover pictures.
Yeah, we could try that.
And because we need to get Grey Man back on here to be the judge again.
Yeah.
So you should make a quiz for each other. A quiz? Does the quiz have to be on something specific?
I don't know. That could be fun, I guess.
I will not know anything. It would have to be very, very specific topic. We need to know anything.
I would quiz you on like Smallville trivia from 2001.
As long as it's multiple choice, mate, and I have a chance of guessing.
I
Yeah, we're not singing
saw.
with pictures.
I think. What's up, Jackson? I saw Neil did a comment way earlier for an idea on the show. It was something about reacting to other people's channels.
Yeah, man, I thought about doing that on my Twitch for a while because my bloody video game consoles don't seem to work on my gaming card thing. I was thinking about just doing a Twitch stream where I just watch other YouTube channels, like comic book ones, just to sort of promote them a little bit. Red Hood is my specialist subject. Not really, Grayman. I haven't even read Under the Red Hood.
There it is. Says I've got an idea for you both. You should watch people's content and do reaction videos.
Yeah, we can get you reacting to whack comics.
I'm still like devastated on that one video where he like ripped up X-Men 4.
Yeah, maybe we'll do cover pictures again next week. What do you reckon?
That
It's
sounds
been a
good to me,
while.
man. Yeah.
It's been a while since we dug out some books. So maybe if the Gray Man, since he's here now, he can be the judge. As long as you're free next week, Gray Man. And maybe he can pick a topic for us now.
Yeah. What do you
How
think,
about
Gray
that?
Man?
How about that? Gray Man, pick something off the top of your head or from your wheel, whatever you want to do. And we'll do that next week. And if you can make it, you can be the judge. Well, you got to be the judge because
If you can't, we'll just get Comic Mag Musings to fill in as judge.
yeah. So yeah, let us
bring in
know.
a substitute judge.
We may as well wrap it up because we're getting close to the hour, and hopefully Gray Man will come up with something. Destruction covers. All right, let me take a photo of that so I remember that.
That sounds doable.
Destruction covers.
Already looking around for covers.
That works. Because it's only 5, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what we'll do next week. Cover pictures too, with guest Judge Gray.
I already see a good book on my wall for one of the covers.
Mate, 5 covers is all right. When you have to pick like 10 and stuff to do those cover chart. Like I'm still trying to pick 10 vehicle covers for the latest thing. I just can't.
Did you ever see my video for it, man?
No, I haven't watched much YouTube in the last like week and a bit. But I remember you telling me what you did, and I was like, how dare you, Russ? How dare you? Between them, Brian LCS main event comics. No, I haven't checked out those for a while.
Not yet, but it's on my watch list.
I liked what he did with his giveaway. How he got you to select a thing, a person. That person represents you in the giveaway, and it was like a wrestling tournament. That's very cool. That's very cool. What sort of match was it? It was a wrestling match. What sort of matches and what sort of wrestling match? What do you got coming up, Russ?
Just the daily videos are going to keep rolling, I guess.
You guess.
Yeah. It's like depends. Like the other day, I just stared at the camera for like 45 seconds and peaced out. And today was just like a quick I got some more of those like $1 decals that I put up on my wall.
Gray Man, what was your record again for your daily video streak? Because Russ just beat his previous record. He was going to tap out and call it a day, and then he decided to soldier on. And then I was like, "You're only you're not even halfway, I don't think, to Gray Man's record of daily video."
Tomorrow is just day 160, so still got a ways to go.
I got a feeling Gray Man got into the 300s.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
324, if I had to guess.
He was way up there.
All right, so it's decided next week we're doing year and a date. Nah, I don't think you made the year. Oh, wait, no, maybe it was the previous time you made a year. But the last time I remember you did it, you didn't quite make the year. But maybe the first attempt, which is maybe before I knew you might have done it. I don't know.
So, man, I'm gonna have to go a year and 2 days.
We'll see, mate. We'll see. I don't know.
I don't know
how
because I'm
much.
struggling, man. I'm struggling.
I don't know how much it counts when you can just do an intro and an outro, mate.
Yeah. Hey, it counts, man. It's a video. It's there. It counts. But see, I mean, I've got some ideas. I just some days I just can't find the motivation to film something, so I just put like one of those like bullcrap videos up to get me through the day.
The bullcrap
So I've
video.
got like several ideas I can still do.
You need to make a playlist.
Trying to
of
find the
bullcrap
motivation
playlist.
to actually film them. It's hard sometimes.
All right, mate. It's been an hour. Let's get out of here. People can look forward to cover pictures next week, and we'll have guest judge Gray on. I've got Comic-Con this weekend, so I've got like all kinds of convention videos that should be out next week. Although I'm supposed to get a media pass for it, and it's 2 days before the event, and I haven't heard anything. So I feel bad. I don't want to push the dude. Hey, am I getting these media passes or so?
Shoot, man, go in there like a rock star. Like, where's my VIP pass, man?
Yeah, I know. So
you know who I am?
They hit me because they didn't have a section to apply for them. So I emailed them and I emailed the information and said, hey, do you guys do media passes? And then like 2 months went by and then a guy reached out and goes, oh, yeah, I'm the blah, 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 blah. And yeah, I'd love to offer you some media passes. Like, sick.
What you got to do, Dad, you got to get the T-shirt with the logo that says Mr. Lickworthy. And get like Sean and Mad Spidey to dress up like your entourage, man, and walk in there like you own the place.
Well, yeah, I need to get like SimpleSimon shirts made up so people can. One of my mates was like, yeah, he'd walk around the event just wearing my shirt. But yeah, that Oz Comic Con actually give you lanyards, like media pass lanyards, which is pretty cool. So
Gray Man said, go in there and act like a Karen.
I know. I might just email the guy like, hey, haven't heard anything. Well, I think he said he put me down on the media list. He just said that they'll be in contact with you closer to the date, and it's like 2 days before the event. So could it be any closer? So I was thinking about maybe shooting him an email and just saying, hey, what's up? Just wondering. Yeah, I know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's what I've got coming up. I also got a package from Bubs, which is mostly eBay books that I bought.
Oh,
nice. Got sent to Bubs, and he sent it to me. But they'll be out after all the convention videos. So, and I still got to do my vehicle cover challenge.
It's hard to find covers of vehicles, man. Like legitimately.
Yeah, and the one I wanted to show the most, which I can't even find, like there's one Batman book cover I've got, and I can't find it anywhere. I've looked through. I feel like I've looked through everything, and I just can't find it. So
I've been putting off organizing, like really organizing my books, like maybe alphabetical order. I thought about like going live and doing that.
You don't have like categories. So I've got all the stuff I've read is in alphabetical order by publisher, but then everything else, because you know I've got a lot of cover buyers. I've got like tabs. So I've got like a Vampirella tab. I've got a Kiss cover tab, a Bondage cover tab, a Wonder Woman tab. I got all these different tabs in my boxes as well.
No,
so
I don't have categories like that really. I do have like all my Silver Age books in a separate box. And I try to keep storylines together when they do crossovers. But other than that, like everything is so out of order.
Gray Man, the Lickworthy art at the end of my videos. Yeah, so Sarah actually hit up the artist and asked her if she could redo a version with a girl with blue hair. But the artist is very slow on doing things, so it will happen one day.
You could just like go in there and like digitally change it.
Yeah, I think she was actually going to change. Like, yeah, you could do that, but I think she was actually going to change it to make it look more like Sarah as well. So, yeah, that was like the plan. But
a bad Photoshop where it's just like her floating head.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right, peace, guys. 99 from 9,000 for Gray Man.
Destruction covers next week.
Sounds awesome.